Welcome to a very special edition of Facts Over Fear. Today, I have an exclusive interview with someone who was recently detained and harassed by CBP at the airport as she was on her way home and back to school. She is a student. She actually goes to the University of Pittsburgh, and her name is Elyanna. And thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me do this interview with you today and
Absolutely.
talk
Yeah,
about my experience.
absolutely. Eliana, I first saw what had happened to you with Border Patrol when I was on your Instagram, and you were talking about this account that you had shared with the world. And I thought, my goodness, you really went through it and how scary it must have been for you. So let's just start with what happened to you that day. And I think it's been a little bit over a week. And how are you doing now?
Yeah, I mean, it was really, bad experience. It was frustrating and it felt like, you know, I had, there's literally no law, nothing that's, protecting us because
Mm.
they can just do whatever they want. Like when I came into the country, it felt like, I'm coming home, I'm
Sure.
going back to my work, school, and my friends. And I was so excited because, it's my first time also going back to my home country where I was born after 14 years of, war. And
And where
I
is
was
your home
so,
country, Eliana?
Syria.
Mhm. So you were coming back from Syria, coming back to school, coming back to home, all of the things, and you went to Newark Airport. And then can
Yes.
you share what exactly happened?
Yeah. So I gave them my passport. The minute they scanned, it's like, they got another person to take me to a secondary security check, which wasn't, I guess, it felt like, my name was flagged or something. And
Mm.
it might be only because I came from Syria. I guess that because it's on a travel ban or something. And they took me to another room where there was a few other people there just waiting. And most of them are just, most of them are, immigrants
Mm.
because I heard them speak and they spoke like, I mean, they had an accent. They spoke English, but
Mhm.
they are also citizens because most of them had US passports as well. And then
So
I was
these were
waiting.
other people that were being detained with you that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So, yeah, they were questioning other people as well there. So I was waiting and then they called my name. They took me to another room. And that's when they started questioning me about um, what I do and then where I'm coming from, where I went in Syria, what did I do, and then they started questioning if I was involved in any ISIS, Hamas, or Hezbollah activities. They even asked me about other groups which I've never heard of.
Wow.
All of these questions only because I came from Syria, which is
It must have
crazy.
been, I mean, I can hear it in your voice that this was a very scary experience. Has this ever happened to you before?
No, I mean, I came from Europe this summer,
Hmm.
never questioned me anything at all.
That's really
Um,
scary. And it's kind of making me wonder too. You had mentioned Hamas, and you're also a student at the University of Pittsburgh. And I know that there was a lot of protester activity because of everything that's been going on with Israel. Do you think you were a target because of that, or do you really have no idea? And it's fine if you don't. I'm just honestly curious as to what is
I,
going on here and what is making them pick pick certain people.
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I thought about this idea. I'm not sure if this was the reason or not, because
Hmm.
I was like, maybe I was flagged because I posted something or I've been in a protest or something, you
Hmm.
know? But then, like, um, recently, so I got my phone back yesterday,
Well,
finally.
let's talk
I'll
about
tell you
that.
about this, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's okay. I know there's a lot that's still going on in your mind to
Mhm.
unpack. So
Yeah.
you were being questioned and then they took your phone, correct?
Yes.
Can you talk
Um,
about that a little bit?
Yeah. So after they questioned me, they were like, "We're going to search your luggage and we're going to search your phone." So I was like, "Okay, you can, sure." I
Good,
mean,
go
it's
for
not
it.
like I don't have a consent over it. You're going to search it anyway. And then they took my phone, they turned it on, and they're like, "Give us the password." I'm like, "I don't have to give you the password. I know my rights, and I don't need to give you my password." And they're like, "Then we're going to take your phone." And they just took my phone. Well, they went to get my luggage as well, which And then after a few, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, they came. The person didn't have the luggage, and they were talking something in the back. And I can hear them talking about the luggage. They came and they searched all my other belongings, never mentioning my luggage. So I straight up just told them, like, where is my luggage? Because they kept, they didn't even tell me. And that's when they were like, oh, your luggage was left in Istanbul or something. The Turkish airline didn't have it. And that was so frustrating because if you didn't find my luggage, you didn't want to tell me until like you're done with me. Like, I need to know where my luggage is. If you're
Right.
taking my phone, you're saying, there's no luggage. It's just like,
What were you
you know,
supposed to do?
yeah.
Yeah, you're finding all of this in real time in a very vulnerable position. I have to commend you for standing up for yourself, though, and pushing back and saying, I'm not going to really give you my password. I don't have to do that. Did they mention to you what they were looking for on your phone or what they were expecting to find?
Yeah, they were asking before when they were telling me they're going to search my luggage and my phone, they were like, are we going to find arms or drugs on any of these? Which is great. Like, how I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to bring arms and drugs in my luggage and like have it on
Interesting.
my phone. And I told them already, I went on that trip to see family I haven't seen in 14 years. You know, it's my family's. And then all they were looking for is drugs and arm. Like, do you expect anyone who's going to the Middle East or Syria or any of these countries to like just go there to like become a terrorist?
My God. I can really hear in your voice. If you're just joining us, by the way, I'm Natalie Bencivenga, and I'm here with Elyanna. She's a student at the University of Pittsburgh. She had a very harrowing experience coming back from her homeland of Syria into the United States recently. Her phone was confiscated. She didn't get it back until you said just yesterday. And this incident happened over a week ago, and her luggage was missing, and she was detained and harassed by Border Patrol. So during this experience, what was the number one thing that was going through your mind?
To be honest, I was thinking about my family. My family is still coming, here in a few days, in a few weeks, well, in 2 weeks, I guess. And all I was thinking about is if I speak English fluently and they don't really speak it that fluent, I was worried about how they were going to manage all these questions and then like the phone issue if it were to happen, you
Yeah,
know?
of
And
course.
that's definitely going to be so much like so hard for many other people who are going through the same thing because this is not really fair for us to like go through. We're citizens and we're still treated as we're not, as a foreigners, as like, we're just treated as, terrorists.
So you are a United States citizen on top of all of this.
Yes.
Wow.
And,
How
I talked to a lawyer and I was talking to a lawyer about this and he was like, are you a citizen? I'm like, yes. And he was like, he was surprised. He was shocked
mm.
that I am a citizen and they would do this to me.
So now that you've gotten your phone back finally, can you talk about the experience from you were in Newark, New Jersey, you were trying to get to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania so you could get back home and back to school. They took your phone and you didn't have your luggage. So what then? How did you get back to Pittsburgh?
So before I got to Newark, when I was in in Istanbul, I was thinking how I'm going to from Newark to Pittsburgh, and I was thinking, should I book a bus or rent a car? And then last minute decision was rent a car, which I'm so glad I did because a bus I would have missed, and I have no idea of how to book another one with no phones, and I
Mm,
don't even have anyone's contact of my friends.
mhm.
So after I left the interrogation room and all this, the CPP, I went to the rental car at the airport and then got the car. And I told them I need a GPS because I have
Mm,
no phone.
yeah.
And I drove from New Jersey to Pittsburgh at 2 a.m. at night with
Oh,
no like phone.
oh, Eliana, that's scary as a young woman in particular, to be driving all of that distance in the middle of the night with no way to contact anyone. And that was really smart of you, though, to think about the GPS. And it's getting me to think of all the things that now we have to think about when we're driving to flying to anywhere. how did it end with Border Patrol? What did they say? How long were you detained for, and what was it like when you left?
Yeah, I was detained for 2 hours. When I left, I felt like really like down. I just wanted to cry and I was trying to pull myself up like in front of them because I wanted to not break.
Mm.
And I was left with no phone, nothing. And once I left, I went to the Turkish airline to fight over the luggage and do a claim. And I just started crying there because
Mhm.
I couldn't because it's like it's too much to deal with. Taking the phone, interrogation, the way they treated me there. It's like, I felt like, I think for a US citizen, you feel respected by other governments everywhere except in your own country. That's how I felt because this is how it is.
Wow. So you didn't feel this way in other parts of the world when you were
No, I
traveling,
mean,
and you weren't treated this way.
no.
Goodness.
I mean,
So,
when I told my friends what happened, everyone thought I was talking about I was treated this way in Syria at the airport. And I was like, no, this is in Newark, actually.
oh, Eliana. So now looking back at this experience, what do you want people to understand about what is really going on in the United States at our airports? Because I think a lot of people have this idea of what ICE is doing in our streets. And I think it's important that we clarify that Customs Border Patrol is not ICE. These are different arms of sort of the same branch of government, But when we're looking at the experience that you had, what do you want people to understand about what's going on at our airports? Because I feel like this has been going under the radar a little bit, the way they're behaving.
I mean, ICE is in our streets, but, CPP is in the airport and they're all working together somehow, the whole system is working together against the people.
Hmm.
And, you know, if this happened to me as a citizen today, it's going to happen to another person. It's going to happen to other citizens. I mean, yes, I wasn't born in the US, but other born US citizens have been questioned as well,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
this is not right. We shouldn't be treated this way. There should be a law that protects us from CPP and protect our, privacy. Like
Hmm.
phone that has my pictures, my phone, family, work stuff, work information, school information.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
should
I think
protect.
about what's on, all of our phones, right? You have banking information, all of your
Yeah.
social media accounts, all of your passwords are banked there. I mean, it's like carrying a tiny computer with you. So the idea that they can just take it and decide not to give it back because you won't play ball, even though they don't necessarily, have a reason to keep you or to keep your
Mhm,
phone, especially as a United States citizen in particular, is very alarming and disturbing. And we do know that they are trying to pass more incredibly stringent laws so that they can access your social media, so that they can look at these things. And what bothers me about all of this, Eliana, no matter what was found on your phone, you do have the right to free speech, right? I
mhm.
mean, you do
Yeah.
have the right to go to a protest. You do have the right to post something for or against someone in positions of power. I mean, that is a human right. That's your inalienable right, or at least it used to be. So I think what alarmed me and concerned me about your story was we're hearing about this on sort of the abstract realm that they're doing this, but this is somebody that was coming to our home community of Pittsburgh that went through this, that is a United States citizen that went through this. And so to your point, and very well put, if they're going to be willing to go for you, who else are they going to be willing to go for? So you said you finally got your phone back. Was anything out of sorts with it? Did they let you know it was coming, or how did that happen?
Well, they didn't let me know it was coming. I gave them my email though, but I didn't get anything from them. Um, but I also didn't give them an emergency number because the only number I had was my dad, and my dad was in Syria, so there's no way for them to contact him.
Right.
And when I got my phone, well, I got a notice on the door saying that they missed me or something, and I had to go to the UPS store to pick up the package, and that's when found out it was the phone. I looked at it, I opened it. It didn't seem like it was even opened. Like it was just turned off the way I left it. no new messages, nothing. And I
Hmm.
think, to be honest, I think they just took it to take it because they can.
Yeah, it was an intimidation factor.
Yeah,
It was
because when
to,
I
yeah.
responded to him, I'm not gonna give you the password, he got intimidated. He was like, well, then we're gonna take the phone.
Hmm.
And they
Hmm.
just take it to take, they just took it to take it because they can and they have the power and no one can
Yeah.
stop them.
Apparently right now no one can stop them. What I find interesting is that you got it back, because I was not expecting you to tell me that. So that's kind of wild too. It's like, okay, so they're confiscating our phones. They're not doing anything with them. They probably didn't even open it. It was
Hmm.
truly just to instill fear in you. This bullying tactic that didn't work on you because you were like, fine, take the phone. And here we are a week later. I'm so sorry you went through all this. I do want to reiterate to everyone who's watching, and we're going to post this after in case you've come into the conversation a little late. No worries. It'll be up. We really need to have a plan when we're traveling. We need to have numbers of emergency contacts written on a piece of paper, written on our arm, wherever, that we can bring, to your point, in case our phones get confiscated. I think the thing that you did that you didn't even realize that was so smart was you made your travel arrangements before you left. So in the instance that your phone was taken, you already had a way at least to get home that didn't involve needing your phone. And I also think it pulls into a larger conversation about our reliance on technology to be able to move in our society at all. Because to your point, I don't even know how you book these things without your cellular device. Who's to
Hmm.
say that if you had had a laptop, they wouldn't have taken that too, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions here around the freedom of mobility, the right to privacy, and what can be done to us if we don't comply with this authority that is completely overreaching. So, a lot of questions that you are raising tonight. What do you want people to understand moving forward now that you've gone through this experience? How has this shaped how you're looking at travel or at the United States?
Well, to be honest, I think no one is safe. Every time we do anything, we need to have another plan or, have an emergent, make sure that we know any, emergency contact. We have a list of numbers of friends. Wherever we go, we need to know what, like, a few people that we know in that area, have their address written down. I mean, even that, I don't really trust writing anyone's address because I don't want
Sure.
them to take anyone's address. But at the same time, it's too risky for people. Like, what if your phone is just gone at any point,
Yeah.
and they take it?
Yeah. And you
It's,
don't maybe say you didn't know where you were technically going because you had it pulled up on your phone, but it's not.
mhm,
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just raising a lot of concerns. And also, as a woman, as a young woman, you were traveling and then you had to travel without any kind of security of having your phone with you in the dead of night. And it was, like I said, really smart that you thought, let me get the GPS because,
yeah.
man, you really would have been flying blind, so to speak.
Yeah. And to be
Eliana,
honest, yeah.
yeah,
And to be honest, it's like the US is becoming very unsafe for everyone.
yeah.
Like as a woman, as an immigrant, as an Arab person, it's like, you know, whether it's the politicians, the new administrations, everything is just like making the whole country is unsafe for everyone.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. And this isn't the kind of country that I think most of us want to live in. And if you are doing any kind of traveling and then you see how other countries are, I think that's really the thing too, because they're really banking on us not leaving and not experiencing the world and recognizing that this doesn't have to be how we live on so many levels. And like I said, the important part here is that we just figure out how to keep one another safe, because this isn't going away. This isn't going to change in the foreseeable future. The midterms are coming up. I think that's going to be a very important part of this story, but it's going to take more than voting for a different party for us to really change what is going on here. This needs to shift at a cultural level as well. We have to decide, are we in this together or not? Because the reality is, whether we want to admit it or not, we are actually in this together. Elyanna, thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate you and everybody that tuned in. And until next time, everyone, as always, please take care of yourselves and each other. Good night.